Hello? Is this working? I got this weird reverb going. That's to amplify my voice, and that's because I'm too lazy to look for my microphone right now. I've been sick for about 3 days, and I'm just taking it easy. Anyway, so I thought maybe I'll show a video of this. I didn't want to use these vocals because this is for a personal project, but it's something that I made, and it's a good example of things that I talk about. So, an individual, you know who you are, who's been messaging me on the Facebook group, or the Facebook page rather, and I have to talk about openings of harmony and creating openings of harmony. Now, it's tricky to find examples, but I thought it'd be cool to use the one that I made here, where if you sway a vocal, you could create openings of harmony. Now, I strongly recommend any of you guys to watch the 98 Degrees acapellas that I made recently, or that I covered, because those songs are very complex. Now, I know a lot of you guys don't care about 98 Degrees anywhere near as much as NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, but give those covers a chance and try to savor the blends, because those arrangements are quite complicated. And they did what I like to call creating openings of harmony, where some of the vocals would sway a vocal and a certain way to create possibilities to slide in a vocal to create a more fancy style of blend. And depending on the feel and area that they wanted to do something creative, then they would do so. Crap, it's 1 a.m. and I should be going to sleep by now. I'm trying to fix my sleep, and this video is probably going to be long. This sucks. I didn't even plan to make this, so thanks a lot, guy who's been messaging me. I'm joking. This will be cool. Just check it out. Okay, so openings of harmony. So I'll give you the quickest example. Now, if you listen to my videos carefully, I talk about how if you got more than 3 vocals and you've got an arrangement of people, you'll have someone copying someone on another octave, usually, okay? Because if you have a perfect 3-part harmony, you have set vocals that are harmonizing with each other, which create a melodic sound. Once you exceed that, you'll have someone copying someone. So, for example, this I Promise You, the highest harmony, most of it sounds like the lowest harmony. Not the bass, sorry, but, you know, Chris is copying Joey for the most part on different octaves, because the realm of possibilities ended, but you can create harmony where Joey does, creates an extra harmony. Listen to that tutorial and you'll figure it out. So, actually that's a good example of creating an opening of harmony. Kind of. But, yeah, so I mean, it's a similar principle, but, okay, so I'll show you this. Savor the blends. This is an acapella that I made up, and no, you're not going to hear the whole thing, and no, I'm not going to show you anymore. This is a personal project, and so here's a harmony piece that I put together, and this is a perfect 5-part. Listen to this.
You are my hope and you are my hope and
Okay, so it's hard to explain. Openings of harmony, in specific cases, you can artistically sway a vocal to hopefully create an opening. So, this is actually going to be pretty neat. And I impressed myself making this little piece here. Here, let's listen to this particular piece, shall we?
You are my hope, 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 you are my hope.
Hopefully you got to savor and take that in. That is a fancy blend right there. That's because it's a perfect 5-part, and you can't always do perfect 5 parts, or else the song will sound really whack because there's only so much possibilities you can do to make a melodic song. Depends what you want to do with it. Depends what sound you want. Depends what feel you want. There are many ways to use vocals, but it all has to fall in the realm of possibility, because it's just like on a piano. It's exactly on a piano. There's only certain notes you can make that will work with each other. Otherwise, you'll be getting dissonance. So, what's the first one I could show you? Okay, first one I'll show you is the high harmonies, because I'll show you the 3-part harmony first, which is simply just simply a 3-part, but it's whack. Okay, so it's a 3-part. I'll just show you how it goes, okay?
You are my hope and 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 you are my hope and
I actually think I could have created a perfect 6 right there, and it could have worked out, which is a pretty cool discovery, but that's besides the point. See, I guess I could have went, you are... Anyway, sorry. Okay, you got your 3-part there, and then let's put what I like to call the high-low, which is the harmony under the low harmony.
You are my hope and you are my hope and
Okay, so the principle stands that the harmony under the low harmony, what I like to call a high-low, is the same as the highest harmony, mimicking it because in the realm of possibilities, under it naturally would be that, but you could sway the vocal to create an opening of harmony, which is what I did. Some songs do that. Is there one I can think of? I mean, I guess this I Promise You did that, where Joey Fatone veers off. And I will take you in my arms and hold you right where you belong. He does the same thing, except he goes, and hold you right where you, instead of and hold you right where you. He goes, and hold you right. You know, similar concept, but here, listen to this.
You are my hope, you are my hope,
Okay, that little section there is a perfect 4-part, because I did this.
You are my hope and
that, ladies and gentlemen, is the perfect example of someone not using a pop filter. Okay, see what I did?
you are my hope and you are my hope and
See, what I did was I was able to tell that I could create a difference between these 2 harmonies, but still fit in the realm of possibilities that would still fit. That would still fit. I guess that's how I would explain it, right? These 2 would have to be similar, at least at some points, but where I felt like I could, when other vocals swayed, that I could calculate or whatever, that I could create an opening, create a difference, creating a different kind of blend. You know what I'm saying? So it still works with the melody, but still harmonizes, but it doesn't go out of its vocal slot, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, let's play with the melody.
you are my hope and you are my hope and
This is so long to explain, but they both stay in their slots. A harmony was able to fit in between, creating a 3-part for both.
you are my hope and you are my hope and
See, that harmony under the melody created what I need to make a blend with one underneath that harmony or the harmony on top, because they those would be the sounds responsible to make that blend. But with the high harmony, I remained relatively linear. You my hope. And I'm like, yeah, that could fit. You are. The bottom one, I went, you. I could have stayed, you are my hope. It would have been exactly the same. But because I stayed, you are, like, you know what? I could fudge this, if you will, and slide up a little bit without exceeding its slot, but without creating a harmony that's too dissonant. That would work, and I think that would work in the placing that I'm choosing. So you are, and with that I created an interesting blend, which created a perfect 4-part in that little section, which I think works pretty well.
You are my hope and
Okay, let me show you something else where a sway makes perfect sense to create an opening of harmony. Now, I Drive Myself Crazy was one of the first things that ever taught me this. So naturally I sang the melody. You are. So notice that sway. You are my hope. Okay, so again, sometimes it pays to have a vocal that is linear. And Backstreet Boys kind of does this. You know, like Drowning, 'cause every time I breathe, I take you in. 'Cause every time I breathe, I take you in. 'Cause he stayed straight, he created a harmony. But depending on how you sway and where you landed vocally, which note you landed on, you could have created a perfect moment where other openings are possible. So this one's pretty cool, and I'll show you it. By the way, I'm gonna try to put out a Drowning video soon, because that one's been on my mind for a long time. I know there's been things that's been messing me up about it, and I know that the original video's got problems with it, but it's already so popular, so I didn't want to delete it. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, but because I did this, which is the bass following kind of the melody, so it's not following the other vocals you heard, and it can't be following the harmony under the melody. So, oh my gosh, perfect 5-part. Let's listen.
You are my hope and you are my hope and you are my hope and
So I chose to stay straight because I thought I can pull off a harmony like that. And the bass you can play around with because it doesn't really need to respect anything. That's why you'll often hear basses usually going like doom 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 boom 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 boom, going up and down and things like that, because it doesn't necessarily need to respect something to create a blend. That's why often you'll hear the bass doing bass lines like dum 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 dum. I mean, there's a certain amount of respect that it needs to follow, but you know what I mean. It doesn't always need to follow. Doesn't always need to follow any of the other vocals to create a, you know, that perfect a blend that you're looking for, unless you do your 4-part and then there's a lead and then you got to do stuff kind of like so in love are we two, we you. So if there was another guy, he'd probably do we you, but he went we you. That's all for one, by the way. I don't have a video on that. Sorry. Where was I? But yeah, so I kept it in there, but right, so it's linear, right? So you are, but that is still filling in the melody slot on a low octave, but it's still filling in that slot, like it's not exceeding. You know what I mean? Remember how I always said I could put a vocal where I can sway up, but it doesn't exceed, but it could still work. That does not exceed, and it still works in that slot, but on another octave. So it's like I can use it. You know what I mean? I mean, I could potentially use it in that octave, but it's cooler because I gave it to the bass, and it works even though it's still in space octave. Certain sounds will still work, but it might not be the exact sound you're looking for. So let's say you have a 3-part, But just kind of like I was saying in the All for One song, where it's like, wee you, wee you, wee you, wee you, wee you, wee you. The bass filled in the low harmony spot, but he sang it on a bass octave. Yeah, it will do that blend, but it's still kind of a different sound, but it'll still work. But like, you probably would want that low harmony, if you know what I'm saying, because you're like way octaves down, but it still kind of works. But it's juicy, let's say, because, I can give it to the bass, create a sound, so now it fits in the realm of that slot, doesn't exceed, right? Because I swayed up, so, you are, I didn't do that. I went, you are my hope, you are, because I stayed straight, where it's still in a reasonable, vocal slot. It stayed within those notes. So now that I swayed up in the melody, and I stayed straight there, still staying within its slot, if you will. And I also did that with another vocal, which created another possibility, okay? But I also did the harmony under the melody, which naturally I want to put in there to create a good blend. Therefore, I have a perfect 5-part, because I made something different from the melody, which I could have swayed it along with it, and I created something with the high-low and the high, which I could have swayed and followed along with it, but I didn't. So I have 2 spots where I altered the trajectory of the vocal, which created an opening of harmony, or the other vocals created an opening of harmony. So I got to squeeze in a new sound, 2 new sounds, perfect 5-part, and it still fit within the realm of possibility, creating perfect 5-part, and it worked. And it didn't sound, in my opinion, too clashy. So hopefully that makes sense, right? So let's recap, and I'll show you the files here.
You are my hope and all. You are my hope and all.
Again, I hope you're noticing and reinforcing that these line up. So the melody and the bass line up a lot. So you are my hope. Well, that doesn't. My hope and out, and out, out, and out, and out. Which is, it's pretty good that happens for example's sake, and even more so for the high harmony and what I like to call the high-low. You are my hope and out. You are my hope and out. And then you throw it all together with that other harmony, it creates something cool.
You are my hope and all. You are my hope and all.
I'm going to try to throw in that 6 piece that I think might fit in there, which would be, another example. So I went, you are, I stayed like that. You are my hope and all. You are, similar principle, I guess. Let's try this.
You are my hope and all.
You are my hope.
You are my hope.
So, with that one vocal I didn't touch, the harmony under the melody, I didn't do anything with that. Remember, I did the melody, created something that fit in line with that on a bass octave, did the same thing with the high harmony. I didn't touch the one under the melody. So I tried it with that, similar principle, and he created that, which I didn't think sounded bad either. So I guess that's the perfect 6 right there. And maybe that's what Take 6 does. Yeah, Take 6 is a pretty cool group. And yeah, no doubt they do stuff like that. They're whack, man. They're freaking whack. Like, there's videos of them, like, doing harmonies and they're piling on each other. It's like, whoa, what's going on? Man, it's crazy. But hopefully you guys understand what's going on now here. See, if you sway something in a certain area, you can create harmony. Yeah, I wanted to elaborate, but like I drive myself crazy, right? They did that, kind of that principle with Joey. Joey Fatone, he stayed very linear. So, I lie awake, I drive myself crazy, drive myself crazy. The bass swayed. Drive myself crazy, drive myself crazy, drive myself crazy, drive myself crazy, drive myself crazy. He chose to stay straight, he didn't move around. Lance got to sway, and it still kind of fit and made a bunch of blends and blah blah blah, complicated stuff. And especially JC with a weird vocal. I try myself. That's a weird vocal to think of, but they're like, oh, that fits, that fits. I try myself, try myself, try myself. Especially with a melody that sways a lot. I try myself, try myself, try myself, try myself, try myself, try myself. And that's where like that perfect 5 part fits. That one little bit there. The whole thing is not a complete perfect 5, by the way, when people are like, oh, it's a perfect 5. Technically not the whole way through, but at some point, yeah, that's why it's cool. But hopefully this clears it up. And a lot of the bands I cover on here do a lot of harmonies, and I like harmonies, so I also grew up in that era. Somewhat, anyway. Yeah, so hopefully you guys understand. I try my best to explain this little acapella piece that I've been piecing together. I did that, and I thought it was a good example. And you, who was asking the question, he was asking about that 98 Degrees She's Out of My Life acapella arrangement, which I thought is amazing. I had to cover it, or I didn't have to, but I did cover it, and it was complex, and they used the perfect... they used there for vocalists very well, because, and this is what I was saying, how it's crazy complex. They used similar principles, but with lengthy, drawn-out background vocals. So, like, they're finding and switching, like, spots. So the low guy, I was like, okay, I'm fitting in something a little more natural, but okay, a unique sway. Okay, but it's kind of working in this weird, like, octaves all the way down. Remember I said in we you, so in love, we you. He used that as the low harmony to fit in that slot. But it can work in the bass too, but you probably want the harmony there. But since they're switching all over the place, okay, I'm going to do that. And then he's artistically going to go up and do this weird vocal here, all within one full-length vocal where I didn't take a breath yet. So like, and they fit all that in. So it's like really whack. So me trying to learn how to sing it, because I can't stop, because I can't just keep like clicking the mouse to stop. I have to learn this really wacky sounding vocal, fitting in all these new openings for each other, creating a really cool blend. And that's why this stuff is really cool. Give those covers a listen. It'll mean a lot, because they're very complicated to learn. And give 90 Degrees some love a little bit. I know most of the people on my channel here probably like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys better, maybe even Boyz II Men, because sometimes I'll throw out a 98 Degrees thing and then no one cares. But you gotta give 98 Degrees credit. I put them up there with Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. These guys idolized Boyz II Men just like the two other groups did, Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, which are up there for me. I mean, they share the same flavor and mentality when it comes to this stuff. And Boyz II Men is like the father of some of these bands that, I really like. So, and Boyz II Men's the bomb. Boyz II Men's the bomb. Okay. Honestly, and I like them. I find that I like them even more recently. But yeah, I really hope that this explained everything. And yes, for you who was asking, hopefully this clears it up, right? Where, little sways, creating openings of harmony, and a cool arrangement will do that, and that's what will impress me. You can just do a 3-part harmony, like ooh ooh ooh, and they're just following each other, which it's fine and dandy, it's nice and it sounds nice. It's always going to sound nice. But then if you want to do some like complicated, intricate stuff, people who make these vocals matter. Like, let's say like a PTX, when they're not doing their beatboxing and bass stuff, I almost prefer their just acapellas without the beatboxing and bass lines. But look up, is it Run to You? Run to You by Pentatonix. That's one of my favorite songs, and the harmony arrangement's pretty cool. And you know, and they do some of the principles that I showed you. There's a vocal that stays straight, where another one could sway and fill in a little piece to make an interesting sound at a point. And you have to pick your spots, and that's also one of the, you know, artistic value and you know, in seeking these things, which it's like, oh, okay, cool, you did that here. Okay, cool, you did that there. And you know, many people probably won't notice. It's like, oh, this sounds really cool, but you know, guys like me who pay attention to this stuff means a lot. I'm like, yeah. And I wish Backstreet Boys did more of this stuff now, which, not really. I think they're more focused on putting out some easy pop stuff that people can just get into so that they can be accepted by the market today, but you can't blame them for doing that. Fine. But, you know, as a group that came out really trying to emphasize that, hey, we're a vocal band, even though we're being thrown into the pop world with a certain market, I don't want them to abandon that. That's the stuff I like, and big harmony arrangements. So, hey boys, want to jump back in? And yeah, so I hope that was good. So this video is not super long, I guess. Anyway, so thanks for watching. I know it's been a while. I'll try to put out more videos, try to do that drowning thing. And yeah, peace and love and ice cream cake. God bless. That guy singing in the back was my brother.